When you were a little kid, did you ever have a fantasy about maybe someday being a superhero? I used to watch Batman. I thought Batman was pretty cool. He was pretty much an average, ordinary guy. But he would fight crime, and he had all of these cool tools and superhero devices that would help him do it. Pretty neat. He had a cool car, too. And then, of course, we had Superman, who could fly and stop bullets, stop speeding trains. Pretty amazing. And even Spider-Man, who could throw out a web and catch a bad guy. Well, obviously, I don't have the ability to spin webs or stop trains, bullets, or anything like that. And so we put that whole superhero idea on the table and get on with our lives. And the thing that wasn't well explained to me when I was young was that those characters, they're really not superheroes. They're comic book characters. But there are superheroes. And I'd like to tell you a story about a few different superheroes. One would be Stanislav Petrov. He was in the Russian military in 1983. And his job was to watch for incoming threats to the country. And he saw on his computer display screens one day a bunch of missiles coming in from the United States, intercontinental nuclear ballistic missiles. And his job was to report this and set in motion a sequence of events for a retaliatory attack. And he saw this missile coming in on the screen, soon followed by more, and they had a trajectory that they were coming closer and closer and closer. He looked at this and he thought, I don't believe it. I mean, he has no reason not to believe it, but just his gut instinct, the world situation, made him think, I'm not sure this is entirely accurate. And if it's not absolutely accurate, and if I don't have 100% confidence, I'm not going to initiate the events that would cause a counterstrike. He was under enormous pressure to start the sequence that would retaliate against the United States for this attack. But he stood firm. He stood his ground. And he did nothing as the missiles came in. As the missiles hit ground zero, nothing happened. It was a computer glitch. There were no missiles. And thank goodness he had the courage to stand down and not launch a nuclear counterstrike against the United States. That man was a superhero. He saved countless lives. Can you imagine the devastation if major American cities had become the subject of nuclear attack because of that glitch? He didn't follow the orders, and thank goodness he didn't. We all owe him a tremendous debt of gratitude. So he was a superhero. And did he get a superhero's welcome? Were there parades? Was he on TV as a hero and given a big reward? Was he a well-known public figure for the saving of humanity? Nah. I'm betting you've probably never even heard of him. But that's what you get when you're a superhero. We have everyday superheroes, which might not shake the world quite as much as he did, but they're also super important. And all of these activities that we do together help humanity. A couple of everyday superheroes. Firefighters who, unlike most of us, normal, rational, sane, scared people, they don't run out of burning buildings, they run into burning buildings to save the children and pets. And thank goodness those people are out there for us. The job they do is super important, and they're heroes. I had people in my family who worked for the electrical power company. And they were the men who would go out in a raging, freezing blizzard, climb their butt up 140 feet in the sky, and fix that 7,000 volt power line that's broken so that the community can get their power restored. That's some manly work. And I don't know anybody who wants to do that kind of work. And 99 out of 100 of us, if we were offered that job, regardless how much money was on the table, we'd say, no way, absolutely not. I'm not climbing up into the sky in a raging snowstorm, freeze my tail off, trying to work with some super hazardous electrical line. But my relatives thought it was important enough for the community to have power that someone had to get up there and make it happen. And if nobody's volunteering, well, might as well be them. Now, these are all pretty extreme examples, but there are heroes every day. And we can choose to be a hero every day if you want to. And what is the difference between an average person and a superhero? Well, the average person wants to go along, doesn't want to stick their neck out, and they know that if they take a stand, if they do something, if they step outside of the crowd, they might be the recipient of ire, and they're afraid. The hero, on the other hand, yeah, they're afraid too. They're just as afraid as everybody else. But they know that the mission that they are engaged in is worth it. They know that the risk is worth the rewards, even if the rewards don't come to them. I'll tell you one more superhero story. This is a personal one. And it's not very important, but it illustrates what I'm talking about. I was on an airplane flight. We come flying in, we're landing, and the plane is pretty full. I'm going to guess there's a couple hundred people on this flight, and I'm at the back of the plane. And as we land and come up to the terminal, everybody starts exiting the plane. So we're all exiting the plane. We go down the jetway, down the corridor at the airport, and this whole crowd of people is shuffling along, moving along the corridor. And we're not moving very fast, and it's a long corridor, and I'm just a little tiny bit impatient because it's been a long day, and I'd like to wrap this up and get out of there. So I'm moseying along with this crowd, thinking, come on, folks, let's move along. I've got places to be. And the crowd starts slowing down and getting a little slower and slower, and we're going down this really long corridor, and then the crowd just slowly grinds to a halt, and we're all just jammed up in the hallway. And I'm at the back of this whole crowd, wondering, hey guys, what's going on? What's the holdup here? So I kind of, after a minute or two of waiting, I'm curious what's happening, so I kind of push my way through the crowd, nudge my way through, and get up toward the front. And I see that everybody is all jammed up and not able to move forward because there are a pair of locked doors in the hallway preventing people from moving through. And those doors have all of this warning signage on it saying, authorized personnel operating the door will cause alarms to sound, federal regulation number whatever, yada, yada, yada. And everybody is standing, unable to continue on because the doors in front of them are closed. So I look at this situation. Now, I'm one person out of maybe 200 or 250. And all of these 200 people are standing there unable to proceed because the doors are closed. And I think these doors are supposed to be open. The plane is deplaning. It's normal protocol. Open the damn doors. And so I looked at the crowd and I thought, You all can't be serious. Somebody do what needs to be done. I turned to the doors. I hit the door. Alarm started screaming and whatever. And I released all the people, and suddenly the 250 people right behind me now followed me down the hallway as we just pushed through these open doors. Did I have a fear that as soon as I hit that emergency exit bar on the door to release this big crowd of people that I might get pounced by 4 very unamused security guards who might hog-tie me and take me to the airport basement and give me an interrogation? Yeah, I thought there's a possibility I might get into some trouble. I didn't think I probably would, though. And I didn't. There was no consequences. We just walked down the hallway. But the thing is that whole crowd of people would have stood there for a long time unless one person stood up and said, "This is ridiculous. We need to do something. If you're not going to do something, I'm going to do something." And I opened the door. That's the hero's mindset. So, why am I going over all this? Because I think we all know the world right now. It's got some issues. Got a lot of stuff percolating. And maybe now more than ever, we sure could use a superhero or 2 or 3 or maybe a few million. And there's plenty of heroes out there, but there's not enough. So we're looking for some volunteers. And if you feel so inclined, I hope you think about stepping up and volunteering to take that role on. Now, full disclosure, it's not a fun job. You're probably not going to get a lot of reward for it. In fact, you'll probably be the recipient of a bunch of heat and hate. And a lot of heroes, they come to an untimely end. But they do an important job. And I think right now the world really needs you. So it's not for everybody. It's a dirty job. Someone's got to do it. And if you have that little voice in your head saying, maybe it's time that I take a stand. Maybe it's time I say something. Maybe it's time I do something. Well, I encourage you to listen to that voice. And I know that there's a lot of fear, and overcoming that fear, it's not easy. And I'm also cautioning people that don't be suicidal. Don't be stupid. But stand up for what you think is right. Do what's right. And if more of us followed our hearts, our passions, and really tried to make a difference in every little way that you can, I think it would be better for all of us here in this world. So that's my message today, folks. I wish you well, and I wish you courage. And I wish for all of us a prosperous, loving, and great future. Thanks for watching the video and hanging out for a minute. I hope to talk with you again soon.